Hello, sir.
What's up, boss? We're out here cooking. We're just out here ranting on the morning. We had a guest cancel, so that means Peace and I just had to step up and say words on the stream.
Just ramble. It's good. You guys are good at that.
It's much easier when you have a Bitcoin puppet who's.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Good morning, sir. Howdy doody.
It's just working pretty well.
That's the goal,
great, right?
That's
the head moves a lot. That's
the head. Yeah. I gotta maybe step back from the mic a little bit. Calm my voice.
The head is like cutting into your body.
Everyone in my life is telling me that I'm yelling when I'm talking. I'm trying to be calm. Yes.
We got a sleepy piece too. So this is a more subdued version of this.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Andrew, you're the founder of Herd, a product that's making it easy to search, understand, and act on chain, like Etherscan, Google, and ChatGPT all in one app. We had you on a little while ago, fairly recently, where you kind of dove into the product, but you got some news today. You've been out there cooking, so I thought we'd just kind of catch up on what you've been working on for the last little while, and then maybe dive into this perpetual hackathon vibe that you've got going.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, last time I was on, I think it was before the product launched. We were just some chatting about what you can do with Herd, but none of it was public yet. We released our product to everyone 2 weeks ago now. So it's a full LLM-based block explorer that we think is the logical endpoint of what Etherscan should have been, which is everything from understanding and finding things on chain to actually being able to be your universal front end for building out and doing any set of actions on chain that you want.
Can you remind people about the deep experience you have in playing around with this data? Because I think maybe some folks aren't quite aware and
sure
experience.
Yeah. Memory in crypto is 1 month old. That's permanently it. But I've been in crypto 5 years. Used to be at Mirror, which was I actually don't know how many people now remember Mirror, but we were one of the top platforms for doing anything crypto content creator related, everything.
Token launch pads before the token launch pads.
Yeah, exactly. Everything from auctions, crowd funds, Dutch auctions, splits, the first version of Joke Race even. It was a fun time experimenting there, and then hop from that over to Dune, where I was head of DevRel for 3 years. So went from building out the protocol and dApp side to more the analyzing ecosystem side of things. So deeply experienced in Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana. I think I can safely say I've probably onboarded the most number of data analysts across all three of those ecosystems. So kind of took that knowledge of both the read side of composable data and the write side of everything we did with protocols at Mirror, and kind of just taking another stab at it with AI now to be okay, I think there's a better way of combining read and write that makes it just easier to do anything on chain. So that's why we start working on Herd.
I love it. So give us the update. I mean, you guys have, I think yesterday announced or had your first sort of hackathon. You're building on top of the C Club crowdfund contract, which we love to see.
Yes.
So catch us up.
Yeah, of course. So our main product, it's called Trails, right? And Trails is the idea of I think most people hopefully are probably familiar with what an ABI is, right? An ABI is just the standard interface or documentation essentially that says, hey, these are the functions on this contract. But it's actually not that intuitive to know how to work with these functions. So we've created essentially what you can consider an enhanced ABI of what if I took the Seed Club crowdfund contract and the Disperse contract and created a combined ABI that's hey, create your crowdfund, claim your fund rewards, and then distribute it out to people in a Disperse. And that is now its own kind of condensed ABI or an enhanced user journey that is easier for any human or LLM to follow. Right. So that's what a trail is. So we've created two trails. What's up?
I'm sorry, this rocks. This is a node editor.
I'm
just looking at the website, but it's
literally
a node editor.
Yeah.
It's a graphic user interface for smart contracts.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. It's the UI. I mean, UI is hard to think about now with LLMs because it's you can just. I just redesigned our UI yesterday actually, or 2 days ago to make it simpler. But yes, it is a node editor in the sense of you have a primary set of functions you want to execute, and you can attach read data to each function. So like if you're creating a split, you'll have a read function for like searching Farcaster users and getting their addresses. Because like those are things that should be tied together in the way that an ABI ties things together. It shouldn't be like, oh, hey, here's a way of creating splits. You have to understand how bytes work. And by the way, people have to paste their addresses. It's like, no, you should have just built in like ENS resolution and like Farcaster user search just kind of by default. Doesn't matter if you're a dev or not. That's just like intuitively how we should be packaging things together. But we've created an industry that's like, hey, go to Etherscan, copy that API, go to Alchemy, do this low-level stuff. And then like once you're very familiar with the ecosystem, maybe you'll learn about Farcaster and the fact that like it has a very dense social graph you can actually leverage to make like searching for users and whatnot easier in your app. It's like that's so much to expect of people. So we create trails to combine all of that. And trails are, built on any contracts that are deployed on chain. We don't do any like custom integration on our end. It's like as soon as it's deployed, our LLM has like a data pipeline where it'll process the contract and all of its data so that anyone can use it in a trail. So what we've done so far, or what we're kicking off now, is bi-weekly hackathons. I kind of hesitate to call it a hackathon, but I haven't found a better name for it yet, because it's like we're not doing hackathons in the sense of going after the same like 1,000 devs that are like, part of ETH Global every single like month or so. Like the people who are like, deep in the space and like know how to code and like are used to using like VM and WAGMI and everything. We're actually trying to go after more of like the non-technical, user base of crypto. So I think there's a lot of like very smart like business product design people in crypto who have a bunch of ideas, but it's like right now they kind of have to rely on having an engineering team or like someone who's familiar full stack with like crypto engineering to be able to build any of this out. And we want it to just be like one click copy paste, where it's like any set of contracts you want to build an app on and you have an idea, like the crowdfund contract from Seed Club. We created 2 trails, which is one is like the create the crowdfund, claim the funds, and then disperse the funds. That's one trail. And then we have another trail that's the donation side, which is like approve your USDC, donate the USDC to the crowdfund, and if the crowdfund fails, claim your refund. Right? These are 2 trails that anyone can view, anyone can try out in our app without building an app themselves, and anyone can fork it or ask their own questions. But
it's so cool. It's so cool. I just have to. I want to interject because it's like actually having this node editor is like no small thing, because it's a really common interface for anyone using Comfy UI, Touch Designer, Blender, like all this creative software. If you've used nodes, you know how to drag it and connect it. And I love what you're saying. Like, you shouldn't have to know how to use bytes. And I'm going to use an analogy that I think is useful, because when you're on your iPhone and you long press a photo and it auto detects a person and pulls them out from the background, that is a complex. That in Photoshop, that would be 4 different actions that you're doing in order to do that. And this is just a desired user behavior, business logic baked into a single button tap, and you do it. And this hackathon that you've built that allows people to come to it with only business logic is fucking awesome. How freaking cool that people can just focus on like their special interest, what they want to do, and know who they're interacting with, and be able to not focus on image compositing or whatever UI design.
You've given Peace a new superpower, and I love how we woke him up out of his sleepiness this morning with a node editor.
Yeah, nice. And like the trail, like it comes with every trail comes with an API, because we're not trying to force people to always execute like the business logic in our app. Like there's many different ways of trying to execute on-chain actions. And so it comes with an API and something we call a guidebook, which is just like this LLM text file. And if you copy paste that guidebook into Cursor, V0, Replit, like N8N or whatever else, it'll understand like kind of the business logic you're building around. So you can focus on just like the actual user experience. So we wanted to start with crowdfunds because like this is something we had at Mirror, where we had a great crowdfund protocol, but everyone doing a crowdfund wanted to do different things in the UI. They maybe wanted this kind of background. They wanted this kind of embed. They wanted that kind of like textual design or like a different user experience when like doing the contribution. And it's impossible for a team, like a platform, to actually keep up with like all of that. But now, like, because Seed Club's already deployed a great crowdfund contract and we've kind of isolated the business logic into trails, all someone has to do is copy and paste that into V0, and they can design their own crowdfund without like any limitations on like the platform design side, without any fees, right, from, you know, us or the Seed Club side. And they get a fully expressive crowdfund just like within 20 minutes. And I think that's something that's like, and this is for like a non-technical user to do. You don't have to be a dev to do this. And I think this is like probably one of the first times in history that it's going to be that easy and costless to spin up a crowdfund, like ever, I think. But I think it's a muscle that's like we have to teach people, especially non-technical users, that's like, hey, you can have this superpower. And like you can tap into all of the business logic in crypto like really easily. And like there's, I think, so much we can do there if we enable that. So we're doing bi-weekly hackathons now where my team will kind of help build a trail or pick a trail each time, and then, you know, teach people how to build on top of it, and you'll get rewards for building on top of it.
So give us some examples of what you've seen be built there, and then I'm also curious how you're actually reaching out to this new set of potential developers.
Yeah, good question. Definitely still figuring some of that out. Because I would say right now, some of the stuff we've seen people do early crowdfunds for is just like crowdfunds for some sort of hobby they have. Like one of our team members does some like music aid and like music groups in his community. So he just spun up like a music aid crowdfund where he's able to like go and embed a video in there. Which is something you can't do like even in the Seed Club crowdfund app, because it's just like, again, there's no way for like a team to keep up with all the requests that come in on like just the UI side. And just something as simple as like embedding a video, like there's a lot of considerations there. And so like that alone is, you know, already an interesting use case. And you know, the hackathon just was announced 2 days ago, so I can't say that I have like 5 or 10 cool examples yet, but you know, I've been looking through a lot of the successful Seed Club crowdfunds, just thinking about like, hey, like a lot of these are like either more artistic or like emotional in some way, and they should be able to express that. And like that's really something we want to enable. We're starting like by trying to reach people on Farcaster. One, because like I think that there's a very smart community of people and builders there that are just much more willing and open to trying some of these new things. And two, like the way we structure the hackathon is like, if you want to enter it, all you have to do is reply with your mini app, right? And that's like, I think it's a different feeling to be able to reply and submit in a social feed with like what you've created on a platform where it's like going to get more distribution and usage than like, you know, the typical hackathon where you submit a GitHub repo and like people are probably never going to really find or even use that GitHub repo. And I'm just like, I don't think that's the right model. It should just be like we're doing a hackathon in a tweet or in a cast, basically, and everyone can see the submissions as they roll in. It's a more social experience, and hopefully that just starts to gain momentum where people see, hey, like I see that person over there has created this like pretty cool crowdfund. They don't seem like a dev. Maybe I can do it too. And I think that's kind of just like the initial chasm is just like people have treated code for years as like, this is this really, really hard technical beast. And it's like Cursor and all these AI tools have made it basically like English for like a lot of the simpler things. Like, yes, there's some complex stuff like Solidity contracts where I'm like, yeah, I don't recommend doing that with AI. But for like customizing a UI and like getting some of the designs and emotions from your head into a UI, the tools are there now.
The tools are there, Anon. You can just do things.
Yes.
Where's the best people? So where can people find out more about this hackathon and even just see some of the early entrants that are coming in?
Yeah, definitely follow Herd Eco on Twitter and follow me on Twitter as well. I'm going to be posting a lot about this and doing some other live streams with people to help them build out their apps. And then, yeah, I mean, I would say try and be more active on Farcaster. Definitely, again, you could follow me on Farcaster as well. It's at Lemmy. You're just going to see people build a ton of cool stuff. But We also have a Discord. You can join our Discord as well.
Yo, Discord.
Yeah, I think we full circled in Web3 of like everyone did Discords, hated it. Now everyone did Telegrams, and I think everyone hates Telegrams now. And I think personally, Discords are actually going to be on the comeback of like all the noise went to Telegram, so the signal is in Discord again.
I hate this.
Probably.
I dislike that a lot.
Probably.
Right.
I had the initial reaction the same way, but I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Like, how many people have like completely overloaded Telegrams now? Like, it feels like some of the same pains as like Discord back in like 2021. I might be wrong, but anyways, we have a Discord. You can join it.
Lead the way, Andrew. Lead the way. And then appreciate you hopping on with us today. Go give them a follow because cool shit gets built and shared in public, and maybe there's some inspiration there for you. And you can just go do things, Anon. You can just go do things. Have a great weekend, man. Thanks for hopping on with us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir.